So we're here outside the European Commission building in Dublin, just in support of our European counterparts in protest about the discussions on the CAP funding at the moment that are going on in the CAP budget. So currently our CAP funding is ring-fenced, so it means it can only be spent for agricultural purposes. There is a lot of talk that this is going to be removed.
Without the CAP budget, our farmers, their futures aren't sustainable. So we're here today to fight for the protection of the CAP budget so that we can continue to produce the top quality food in a sustainable manner that we're doing. So the message for me here today and for that I want to go back to Europe is without that CAP budget in this country, we just can't do that. And it's going to be the decimation of Irish agriculture if the CAP budget is interfered with in any way.
Basically what CAP means to the likes of myself, a livestock farmer that's farming cattle and sheep, it's basically my income for the year. What I make from the sales of the animals roughly covers costs. And the subsidies that you receive then from Europe through CAP, that's your farm profit and your viability, your living expenses. That's what you have for your work at the end of the year.
Well, it makes up a massive portion of our overall income. If you look in 2023, effectively, CAP payments funded almost 100% of Irish farm incomes on average. Now, there's a big range between dry stock farmers who are the most heaviest reliant on it to dairy farmers who are less reliant, but it still forms an absolutely massive part of our overall farm income, and that income comes in to Ireland and goes to work. So it goes across into every parish in Ireland. There's European CAP funding going into that parish. And that's absolutely vital for these places where they don't really have a whole pile else going on. They don't have industry. So if we remove that funding or reduce it, it has a huge impact on the fabric of rural Ireland.
I'm pleased to speak to you today. Farming has always been central to the European project. This has not changed. The President of the Commission has made it very clear that farmers are entitled to a fair and sufficient income.
Over 40 years of the CAP has ensured that there is safe and traceable food in Europe at a high standard. And now they're trying to switch the switch on that completely. We think this is a hugely fundamental change, and we need to send that message back to them. They need to start listening. They're acting like they're not listening at the moment. They say they're listening, but they're acting like they're not listening.
Farmers will always need support when it comes to food production because we produce very high quality food. We have serious regulation to make sure that we provide that food at a very high standard. And we make sure that we provide food that is not very expensive for the consumer. So in order to do that, we have to be subsidised. So I suppose subsidy is the wrong word, but we have to be supported. So our support comes from the CAP funding. That's what makes food cheaper for the consumer. So because we're producing, we have very high input costs like everybody else. We are open to inflation like everybody else, but we have to produce that food so that the consumer has food on the table at a reasonable price. But if that's to happen, we have to be supported through the CAP fund.
I suppose what we've seen is really a roller coaster over the last 5 or 6 years. So 2023 was a very difficult year, very low farm incomes. We've seen a recovery in 2024, better weather and better output prices. So, but still though, like we have some very, very vulnerable sectors. The beef sector, the sheep sector, the tillage sector. Things have improved for them, but they've come from an incredibly low base.
What I'm saying to you today is, if you're not going to support us as farmers, where is that food going to come from? So, we absolutely know.
As a young farmer, look, funding is needed. We're the generation of farmers that are investing into our farms every day. We're adopting new methods. We're trying to bring new ideas in, and we're the future of farming. But we need to be able to make a 5-year, 10-year plan. We need certainty, and with that, we need to know what funding is going to be down the line. What support are we going to have from Europe?
So I'm very pleased to see so many farmers out today. It just shows how seriously this is taken. This is a representative group from all our farmers across the country. We could have asked all our farmers to come out, and I'm sure they would have had. But it's a very busy time in farming at the minute, as people will understand. It's silage time. People are very, very busy. And we only asked our National Council and the Council of ICOS to come. So every one of them have turned out this morning, and that is testament, I think, to the seriousness of the situation.